Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. My name is Jack, and today I am going to be listing off and ranking every new movie I saw in March of 2024. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and join me in the comment section down below to comment your favorite new movie that you saw this month. There were a lot, so this is going to be a big list. Now, I saw 10 movies this month, which is more than any previous month in my life. There were 2 movies from Netflix, 2 movies from Amazon Prime, 1 from Peacock, and then 5 theatrical releases, so this was really a busy month for me. And then there were some I didn't see, such as Immaculate, Late Night with the Devil, Imaginary, and the Land of Saints and Sinners, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I plan on checking out Late Night with the Devil and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I don't really care for the other ones that much, but if you've seen them and thought they were good, let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to check them out. So here's the rankings of all the movies I did see, starting at the bottom of the list at number 10 and working my way up to the top with number 1. Coming in at rock bottom in the 10th place is Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. Never before have I seen a bigger dip in quality from an original to a sequel. The first film is a nostalgic classic for me. My brother and I watched it a bunch growing up, but this new one might just be one of my new least favorite movies of all time because everything good about the first movie is completely absent here. None of the original cast is back. There's some terrible character assassination. The animation is absolute garbage. A lot of times it feels like I'm watching video game cutscenes, and there's a million random things with this script that you'll just roll your eyes at. For instance, they changed the minion character's name to Chum. And if that's not already stupid enough for you, they work a joke about it into the script, and it's the cringiest thing ever. It's also just such a little kid-focused movie. The cops don't even have guns. They have flashlights. So it's so stupid that in a world where a giant lava monster is running down the street, the law enforcement is going to run at them with nothing but flashlights. So there's just a million things that were just so unredeemably dumb. And as bad and mid as some of the other movies on this list are, it's really just offensive to include them in the same breath as Megamind 2. That's how bad of a movie it is. In 9th place, we have the new Roadhouse remake. This was on Amazon Prime. It starred Jake Gyllenhaal. I have not seen the original Roadhouse. I am not remotely interested in UFC or any of that stuff, so this movie wasn't really made for someone like me, so I get that I'm not necessarily the target audience. And that being said, I didn't really enjoy this movie all that much. There are some good fight scenes in here that are well choreographed, but aside from that, I found this movie kind of boring. It really drives its Florida setting into the ground with so many unnecessary atmosphere shots of like musicians in the bar and then jet skis and stuff. Everyone talks about this movie having nonstop action, but when I was an hour into it and there were only 2 fight scenes, I kind of decided it wasn't for me. I get there's people who enjoyed this movie, and if you enjoyed this movie, that's awesome. More power to you. It's just so much not my thing, and I guess it really just wasn't for me. In 8th place, we have a movie that's somehow both overwhelming and underwhelming at the same time, and that is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love here. There's great performances from actors like Paul Rudd, McKenna Grace, Kumail Nanjiani, and all the original Ghostbusters that are here. They're just amazing. It can be an entertaining film at times with a good premise and such a unique atmosphere, but aside from that, it really falls short for me. It's just overstuffed with characters. Nobody has time for development. There's really bad pacing. It's only like 2 hours long, but it really felt like 2.5. And it falls a bit generic at the climax, so it's kind of hard to defend. In 7th place, we have Damsel, which is the new Netflix movie starring Millie Bobby Brown. This is a fantasy film, and it's just a very epic movie that's generally very enjoyable. The visuals can be impressive at times. Millie Bobby Brown transforms into such a badass over the course of this film. The dragon was creepy and freaking awesome, and a few of the jump scares even caught me off guard. My only thing about this movie is the trailer just gives away so much. There's just this twist that happens at the end of the first act that they give away in the trailer, and it really makes or breaks the entire premise of the movie. Twists are good to have, but they shouldn't carry the entire concept. If the twist is part of the pitch, then it's not a good twist anymore because you need to know the twist in order to watch the movie, and then it just becomes unsurprising and kind of defeats the purpose of a twist. Having seen the trailer, I felt like I knew everything that was going to happen, so it felt like a rewatch even though I hadn't seen the movie, so that's why it sort of falls near the middle of this list. In 6th place, we have Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, a movie I see people have all kinds of different takes about online, but I had a really fun time. Gonna address the elephant in the room here. This movie is definitely stupid. The characters are hollow, the CGI is generic, and the plot is so idiotic, but that all adds up to create an awesome and entertaining movie that is so bad that it's good. Half the scenes in this movie were unintentionally hilarious and had me questioning what the heck I just watched. The Kong subplot, for instance, is so stupid. There's literally a 15-minute sequence of just CGI gorillas roaring at each other, and it's freaking amazing. There's some good monster fights that gets this franchise into new locations like Egypt and Brazil, and I feel like this stands out from other American kaiju and Godzilla movies because this is the first one to really tap into that otherworldly, over-the-top stupidity, and I just found it extremely enjoyable in that sense. Sure, Ghostbusters and Damsel probably have more good things about them than Godzilla x Kong, but for me, a movie that's so bad it's good is definitely more memorable than a movie that is mid. This is nowhere near as good as the cinematic masterpiece that is Godzilla -1, but I didn't go see this for the relatable human characters. I came to watch giant monsters punch each other, and I got what I wanted. Starting up the top 5, we have Ricky Stenicki. This is an Amazon Prime original comedy movie starring John Cena and Zac Efron, and it is just a lot of fun. It's hilarious, it's raunchy, it's over the top, and it just goes all out. But then there's actually a good story with meaningful character arcs buried beneath that. John Cena is funny and charismatic. He gives one of his best performances here. There's this bit of him doing all these ridiculous rock star impersonations that is so stupidly funny. He just plays this lovable idiot who's comfortable being the end of the joke, and that generates some really great comedy. Zac Efron is really funny and charismatic and just has a good character arc in here. This is a bit of a generic liar revealed story at times, but it uses that premise in an interesting way, and it definitely benefits the plot a little bit. It's just a fun, easy watch that's great for a bro sleepover or a weekday afternoon, so I highly recommend it if you're into comedy movies. In 4th place, we have Kung Fu Panda 4, a movie that does get a little bit generic at times. A lot of the jokes don't land, and there is a disappointing shortage of Furious 5, but the movie definitely has its charms nonetheless. Jack Black as Poe just has unlimited charisma. Awkwafina as Zhen was a new character I really liked. And Bryan Cranston and James Hong as Poe's two dads, they had a subplot that just stole the show. The visuals are great, the score is spectacular, the action is riveting. It's just the weakest of the 4 Kung Fu Panda films for the story not being as great, the humor missing the mark sometimes, and it not having that same emotional depth that the first 3 movies have. But it's still a fun movie nonetheless, and I definitely had a blast watching it. In 3rd place, we have The Spaceman, which is a Netflix science fiction movie that stars Adam Sandler and Paul Dano. Now, Adam Sandler is just one of my favorite actors of all time. He does an awesome job in this lead role, and he has such range, being able to do everything from comedic performances to dramatic roles to voice roles in kids' movies, and this movie is definitely some of his best work, I'd say. Spaceman is very much a full-on character study of this guy who's alone and isolated in space. He has all this childhood trauma he's trying to move past, and he has a conflicting relationship with his wife. And Paul Dano comes in here and does some great voice work as Hanush, this sort of spider alien who basically becomes Adam Sandler's therapist. And his voice is just so creepy that it works so well for this type of role, and it really adds to the kind of all-around unusual aesthetic of this movie. Spaceman is such a cool, trippy, artsy, and inventive sci-fi film. There's emotional depth that will make you think and feel for these characters, gorgeous visuals that will take your breath away, and this is one of the best Netflix movies I've ever seen. It just definitely falls a little bit generic at times and has some inferiority compared to superior sci-fi movies such as Interstellar, but I all around really enjoyed it. Coming in at 2nd place is Arthur the King. This is a feel-good, inspiring, heartfelt movie that will just make you feel a whole spectrum of emotions. It's a movie that will make you smile. It's a movie that will make you cry, and it will inspire you to push yourself to achieve your dreams and become more than you already are. Mark Wahlberg gives a lot of charisma in the lead performance. He has a great relationship with the dog, Arthur. And as someone who's had pets his whole life, this was a movie that really resonated with me. It's really intense and well-directed at times. It's a movie that will keep you on the edge of your seat. And this is just wholesome, general appeal, heartwarming, high-value entertainment that will show you a great time like nothing else. But coming in first, taking home the gold medal is Dune Part 2, a a movie I didn't really expect to enjoy that much despite the fact I was really anticipating it, but it ended up blowing me away and being one of my favorite movies I've seen in the last couple years. I saw the first film in 2021 and didn't really get it, so I was a little skeptical going into the second one, but my God, did it blow my mind. It's such a large-scale spectacle film. There's a lot of awesome battle sequences I'm always a sucker for. The cinematography is just beautiful, and just the image of Fremen riding on sandworms is amazing in itself. There's some great performances in here. Zendaya, Josh Brolin, and Florence Pugh are all great. Austin Butler is awesome in here and completely unrecognizable. Like, I had a hard time believing that Harkonnen was the same guy who just played Elvis a couple years ago. Timothée Chalamet is just an awesome, valiant, and badass leader as Paul Atreides. Like when he says, "May thy knife chip and shatter." It's just the coolest thing ever. This movie is just a masterpiece, truly one of the greatest science fiction films of the 21st century, and I'd really be surprised if it isn't in my top 5 favorite movies of the year. Just for that sandworm popcorn bucket alone, this has to make the top of my list. So that's gonna have to wrap it up for my ranking of all the March 2024 movies I saw. What did you think of this video? Would you like to see more videos like this? What was your favorite or least favorite movie that you saw this month? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear everything that you have to say about this video. April is just going to be a great month for movies. I'm really looking forward to Monkey Man. I think Civil War is going to be great. Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare looks interesting. So I'm definitely excited to go into this next month with more movies I want to check out that are probably going to all be great times. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, YouTube, I will see you on the flip side.